Welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at another way to run PDF Report Writer. Using the query tag, we can place SQL statements directly in our file. For this example, we'll use the sample HR database that comes with Oracle. Notice that you can either use an Oracle database driver or an ODBC connection, or XML or flat files. Here's our select statement. It goes between the opening and closing query tag. Next, we'll have our loop statement, which loops through the data. The dump option simply tells the loop statement to create a table in Report Writer with the results from our query. Now we'll go ahead and generate our report using Report Writer. Be sure to use the -allowPerl option or setAllowPerl DLL method whenever you're using a query from a database. And Report Writer will now connect to the database, pull the data, and create our PDF. Our columns and data are simply based off of the SQL table. This is simply a quick and dirty method to export the data from a table. Notice there's no special formatting on any of the columns or data itself. Now let's go back to our example and make a few modifications. We're going to slightly modify our select statement, and then we're also going to remove the dump option from our loop statement. Because we're removing the dump option, we're going to go ahead and place a table and the column headers into the script itself, and we'll use the rwget statement to reference the field names from the select statement. Notice that the field names start with a $sign followed by the name of our query. We'll go ahead and run Report Writer again using our new report. Again, it'll connect to the database, generate our PDF, and you'll see now that our table looks slightly different. We now have nicer column headings and just the data that we wanted from the query. Now let's expand further on our example. This time we're going to use some conditional statements to place the department and job title headings. We'll use the rw-if-else statements to conditionally place a row for the department name if we're at the first department, and similarly for job title. The keyword first of is a built-in function you can use to check to see if you're at the first iteration of a field that you're sorting by. There's also a first, last of, and last option as well. Now we'll go ahead and generate this report. Notice now that department and job title are only printed once, the first time that they show up. And also on a page break, they're repeated at the top of each page. Now, let's go back to our report and make one final enhancement. In our previous Report Writer video, we saw that we could use headers and footers in our report, so we'll go ahead and add a header and a footer. We'll also modify our select statement a bit and flag those employees that have been with the company for more than 15 years. We'll place an image of a small star next to their hire date. We'll do this by using the rw-if statement and compare the number of days from our select statement. Now we'll go ahead and run this iteration of the report. And you'll see that those employees that have been with the company for more than 15 years have a small star next to their hire date. And you can also see our header and footer that is now printed on the report. Rather than connecting to a database, we can also use flat files on disk as our tables. We can use comma-separated files or XML files as our database. The demo comes with this example, sample_sql.frw, which shows how to use some flat files as your database. The RW table tag specifies what files on disk are going to be used for tables. We then treat those files just like a table from a database. We can also pass options into Report Writer to specify what data to pull. Notice we can join data from one file to another, just as we would from a database, and also use an order by clause. There's some calculations and if clauses within the sample. Further down, you'll see that there's an XML example as well. Again, we treat the XML files as a table from a database, performing inner joins and ordering the data how we want. After running the sample through Report Writer, we get our output PDF. Remember to use the Allow Perl option on the command line. The tables shown in this section are the result of taking several comma-separated files and joining them together. Note that we're also sorting the data by department and adding subtotals. And finally, here's the data from our two XML tables on disk combined together to create a single table in our output PDF. With Report Writer, we can connect to a database to create our tables, or simply use flat files on disk to create our output PDF. Download the free demo and see how easy it is to create great looking PDFs from your data.